Small form factor telescopic controllers are back, but is the Gamesir X5s one of our new top 5 gadgets? Gamesir are a brand that I absolutely love to rave about. Long-time subscribers of the channel will know from our previous videos that I've done a lot of them. They are absolutely the kings of performance on a budget. If you've not experienced one of their controllers yet, I absolutely implore you to, because they really defy the quality of controller that you can get at a budget price point. So when they drop a replacement to the awesome X5 Lite, I get a little bit excited. A telescopic controller packed to the brim full of specs that is awesome for mobile gaming, but also could even be a replacement to your Switch 2's Joy-Cons. Yeah, it's that good. So let's drop down and take a look at it. So those of you new to Gamesir need to understand two key things about their products. They are absolutely feature packed and have incredible build quality that is way above their price point, which in this case is $49.99. Firstly, onto the telescopic part, which is just the extender in between each half of the controller that allows for fitting any mobile device, tablet or Switch between 105mm and 213, which in layman's terms is pretty much anything with a screen. With its very strong spring loading but very forgiving rubber edges, this firmly grips anything in between it, but not in a way that's actually going to damage your product, but gives you the security to know that this thing just isn't going to drop out and smash all over your floor. The smaller form factor of the controllers are weirdly comfortable for adult hands. I have fairly big hands and these still feel really great, which is kind of surprising. I think a lot of that comes down to the huge amount of work that Gamesir have put into the design of the ergonomics of the X5s, with the flaring of the controller handles themselves and the button placement and joystick placement, making it very easy to play for longer periods of time. Connections wise is another area where the X5s absolutely shines, taking advantage of what Gamesir call tri-mode connectivity. This really just means it works in 3 ways, either Bluetooth, USB-C wired, or via the Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz dongle. But sadly, you do have to buy this dongle separate if you want to take full advantage of this wireless X input mode. All of this means that the X5s is pretty much compatible with pretty much anything that's on the market, from iOS, Android, PC, Mac, Nintendo. It can even work with PlayStation input, and like I say, you can take advantage of X input too. So it can work with pretty much every device that is on the market. You even have simple button combos for startup to change what input mode you're using. For example, if you hold Y and the Gamesir button to start up, it turns the X5s into Switch input, and that is signified by the Gamesir logo turning red on startup. On top of that customization, you can move things a step further with actually this face buttons being swappable, so you can fully customize the layout of the face buttons to fit the device you're using. And because Gamesir are the kings of convenience, they also supply a handy little cap tool to help you. Think of this like a keyboard cap tool where you can pull out the keycaps. You've got this little tool to help you with the button caps here. It's very simple. They just pull out, and underneath they reveal the membrane switches that you can see underneath. Okay, the cool stuff doesn't stop here. It's amazing how much Gamesir have packed into something that is just $49.99. If you're using this controller as a replacement to your Switch 2 Joy-Cons, then I've got some really good news for you. Gamesir includes something that Nintendo couldn't even do: Hall effect joysticks. If you don't know what Hall effect joysticks are, well, watch one of the thousands of videos online about them. It just means that they work off magnets rather than resistance, so they're gonna last longer and not develop that dreaded stick drift that we see on the Switch 2's Joy-Cons, on the Switch 1 Joy-Cons. In fact, every major manufacturer of controller, Xbox, PlayStation, are all guilty of not using Hall effect, so it is incredible that Gamesir have managed to put Hall effect joysticks in a controller that is just $50. They've even taken that a step further by making the triggers Hall effect too, which is absolutely amazing. Obviously, those are analog triggers, but that's not going to register if you're using these on Nintendo Switch, because that doesn't read analog input for the triggers. But for multi-platform stuff, that is really cool. Whilst we're still in Switchland though, the X5s features HD rumble. Yes, these $50 controllers feature HD rumble. That is absolutely incredible. For those of you who don't know, it's just a higher definition of rumble, much like we see on the PlayStation controllers with their feedback. You have it on the Switch controllers as well. You get this very accurate levels of rumble which you can integrate into games, and it's normally only seen in far more premium controllers. So again, kind of mind-blowing that Gamesir have included it on the X5S. Buttons-wise, my only real criticism are the face buttons that are membrane. I personally prefer mechanical switches for the speed of actuation and the lifespan of the switch itself. But saying that, I know a lot of people prefer the silence that is offered from membrane switches. Also, the D-pad is a little mushy, inaccurate, and just a bit imperfect. It's probably the biggest letdown of this controllers, but for $50, you can't have it all. For those rich boys out there, Gamesir have a final additional product that comes in the X5 lineup, and that is going to be their active cooling solution, the FX5. This very simple fan-driven heatsink setup clips to the back of the telescopic part of the controller. It blows air onto essentially what is a heatsink panel to draw heat away from a device. The magnetic battery pack combo is honestly kind of a genius little setup, but it does add some significant weight to what is a lightweight setup, but it's fairly effective at keeping your devices cool. It is pretty good, like I say, at keeping devices cool, but the only downside I can see is because this is just a slide-on, clip-on device for the X5S, it's kind of difficult to get it into exactly the right places to where heat is being generated on your device and for it to stay there. Obviously, heat sinks, in order to be effective, have to maintain constant pressure on the device that they, or the element that they are drawing heat away from. And because this is kind of just slid in and clipped in and there's nothing putting pressure on the back of your device, it's hard for it to maintain that contact to draw heat away. So it is less effective than you would hope. But I will say, just by touching the panel on the back of it, it does get very cold very quickly. So it will offer at least some level of heat dissipation that you don't get in anything else. So it's by far the best solution, but it is a good solution, and fantastic to see Gamesir trying to innovate in this space and offer something that us gamers have wanted for a long time. So the TLDR, this whole thing, is the X5S worth it? Well, in my opinion, it's an absolute no-brainer. Gamesir have done it once again, smashed it clearly out of the park by offering way too much for $50. The specs that they've crammed into this is incredible. The build quality is absolutely defying its price point. Once again, Gamesir have managed to cram in everything you could ever want into a $50 telescopic mobile controller. But is that one of our new top 5 gadgets? I'll let you guys decide down in the comments. And whilst you're down there, please do like this video, subscribe for more top 5 gadgets, and I'll see you in the next one.